Hello and welcome to SystemVerilog in 5 minutes. Today we'll look into cross-modules reference. This is a module top and this is a module A. It has one input port and one output port and one internal variable. Now in order for top to communicate with A, top has to instantiate A and use logic or wire to connect to it. It can then control and monitor A. However, it should not control or depend on the internal variable B here. Generally, this is how design module should work. If you are writing test to module, we have greater flexibility with cross-module reference. Although I should advise, try to avoid it as much as possible. First, let's create a simple system. This is a module top. It has a variable tt. This is a module A and it is similar to top. It has a variable AA. Top can then instantiate A. Now let's say A instantiates another module B and this is module B, which is pretty much the same code. And then B instantiates C, C instantiates D, and finally D instantiates E. Let's say there's another module X as well. Top instantiates X and X instantiates Y. Visually, this is how the system looks like. Now let's focus on module C. Can module C access other variables in other modules such as AA? The answer is no. But what about DD, which is from its child module D? The answer is still no. A module can only access variables by name if the variable is within the module itself. Having said that, module C is a subsystem where it has a module D, and module D has a module E. And as such, module C can access variable DD by using the path md.dd. It can also access variable EE by using the path md.me.ee. This is generally considered as a relative path, and it is reliable because module C will always have a module D, and module D will always have a module E. There is, however, no way to refer to a parent module. Generally speaking, a module would never know if it itself is being instantiated by another module. Now another way to refer to a variable in other module is to use an absolute path. For example, the variable EE. Instead of using this path, we can use this path. Note that in this path, the highest level module uses module name top, whereas other modules use instance names like MA and MB. Using absolute path is like a God view. We can access any variable in the system. For example, top.tt and top.mx.xx. In general, it is best not to use absolute path because it makes a module less reusable. Let's say we have a module F and it wants to instantiate module C. If module C has an absolute path reference in this system, that path does not exist, so module C cannot be reused by module F. There is another rather unconventional way of referring to another module. This way is to simply use an instance name. Look at this path of using md.me.ee. We can simply use me.ee and it will work. The way it works is that it will find through the hierarchy line. Using this method, module C knows about MA and therefore it can use ma.aa. It can also find direct child module along this lineage. For example, top has a direct child module mx. This method will allow module C to use mx.xx. However, it cannot see beyond the direct child module if it is not along its own lineage. For example, module C cannot use my.yy. I have to say, try to avoid this. It makes the code very difficult to read and to trace. Now one final method, binding. Let's simplify the system by removing module Y. Now let's say module A is a design subsystem and module X is used to monitor module C inside the subsystem. The easy way to monitor module C is to write the code there, but a lot of the time the designers would not allow other people to modify their code. So we can instantiate module X in top and then we bind module X to module C like this. This is the instantiation and this is the binding mechanism. It effectively puts MX as a child module under MC. MX cannot refer to variable CC directly, but it can use mc.cc. Note that module X is making assumption that module C instance is called MC. If module C instance is not called MC, this would not work. Today we've looked into several methods to refer to other modules in the system. Next, we'll discuss about compiler directive.